with the descent of the mother light of purity, I, the goddess of purity, inaugurate a new cycle, that you might be bathed in the fullness of the white light of purity, to prepare you for the coming into the birth of your Christhood. For yes, blessed hearts, though you may have already experienced a modicum of your Christhood, each day you are called to be prepared for the stepping forth of the commanding Christ consciousness and the ability to draw forth from your own God presence the wellspring of all that you require and the fulfillment of the desires of that God presence in this world of form. The communion in the Holy of Holies, the secret chamber of the heart, is where you are bathed in that purity, where your vehicles of consciousness will receive on bended knee the anointing of each of the desires of your own God presence, the qualities of that God presence. And yes, blessed hearts, the empowering to unfurl those qualities into the world of form, so that as you take dominion as the Christ, all of elemental forces bow before that light of the Christ and respond on the instant, fulfilling the very desires that you would utter from your lips or allow to cross the very threshold of your mind. This is why there must be purity in your life. For if you are to be vested with that ability, you can begin to appreciate how it could be misqualified on the instant. And thus, your own God presence will test you time and time again until there is the trust that your outer vehicles are indeed responsive to the hand, the heart, and the mind of God. When there is rebellion within the outer vehicles, when there has not been enough of the purity, the refining of the disciplines required for you to hold fast to that purity, then, blessed ones, there cannot be the floodgates opened wide to give you all that would fulfill every necessity of life, that would assist you in being prepared to pass those great initiations which each one is required in order to make their ascension. Hand in hand, you walk into the light with your own God presence overshadowing you as a company of saints robed in white, that white light of Christ righteousness that allows you to be the protector, the defender, and the wisdom for those that would follow on their own path to the ascension. For just as you look to the recorded history of the saints of old, of those adepts that have left the record of their history, so that you might weigh against that history your own attainment. Blessed ones, as you continue each day to strive toward upholding the flame that burns upon the altar of your heart, being true to that flame, allowing that reality of God to be the benchmark of all that you would strive to accomplish. When this occurs, you know that you are always on the right track. You are fulfilling the will of God. For it matters not what might be thrust into your pathway. It will be the will of God that you meet it, and that you be God victorious, and knowing how you must move in, through, and around that obstacle. How you must uphold the virtues of the Christ and the God qualities that you have become in your striving on the path to the Ascension, and be God victorious at the end of the day. There are those that think that they will merely waltz through life, not having to meet those challenges, not having to mount up an extraordinary amount of striving, utilizing every erg of energy within their being, and anticipating that even so it will not be enough, and being required to call upon the mighty I Am Presence, calling upon the ascended and cosmic beings, the Angelic Kingdom, to assist, to ultimately have the overcoming. Blessed hearts, when you recognize that you must pull upon the flame of God that burns upon the altar of your heart, with the striving, the yearning, the hunger, and the thirst for God, you recognize the intensity within your world that is required to ultimately enter into a realm of peace and harmony. There would be those that say the two cannot stand side by side, but indeed, blessed ones, for you to have the ultimate peace in your life, there must be the tension that is exercised by the striving, holding the bow at the right pound, so that when the creative endeavors of your life go forth, shot as it were as an arrow, you will have the victory. You will accomplish every detail that was dreamed within your own mind, that was held upon the heart, feeding it with the desire and the love that would ultimately catapult it into the creative nature of your own being and draw it forth, manifest full-blown before you. There are many examples throughout life that would teach you the creative process that must be ensued by every son and daughter of God. You are about to graduate into a new class, a class of study, blessed hearts, that will teach you how to draw from within the purity of the mother light that is deposited upon the energy centers of your vehicles of consciousness, that can be drawn forth daily to replenish all that has been utilized before. All this so that you might begin to refine your alchemies, understanding how the Christ light establishes the emerald matrix to bring about all that the mother light would feed into in the highest of purity, the most beautiful, holy, and sacred vibration, that when your alchemy is complete, you will know it is true to the heart's desiring of your mighty I Am presence. For all things of value, of worth, of reality, come forth into your life from the mind of God, from the mighty I Am presence, having held that seed idea and thrust it into your keeping, allowing you to grasp it, nurture it, breathe upon it the pranic breaths, filling in every detail and allowing for the Christic fire of the emerald matrix to come forth and establish all that you had desired. But can you not begin to appreciate how difficult it would be to bring about the pure concept held within the mind of God if there were impurities in your mind, in your emotions, in your attitudes and habits, into your way of life? Therefore, placing your attention upon the mighty I Am presence, making room for that presence in your life, and establishing the disciplines that will demand of your vehicles that they be responsive to the directive of the light of God. This will prepare you, and it is a life's work. Surely there are those occasions when one may experience a more than ordinary acceleration in their own vibration as a result of your attunement with the mighty I Am presence and the grace of that presence in your life. Likewise, when you have come before this altar and received the blessing of the light pouring forth from the ascended and cosmic beings, the teaching and instruction as cups of light that you ingest into your consciousness, that begin to leaven and establish a vibration within you that cannot be denied as the truth that you ratify upon the altar of your heart. For that allness of God is present in what you have received, and thus you know it to be true. But knowing a thing is true, recognizing that reality and making that reality a part of your activity of your life is wholly another. And thus, in this coming cycle, you will be challenged to make the reality of your own mighty I Am presence as the Christ light a way of life for you. And so I have come this day to initiate the white light of the Mother Flame as the first in the line of initiations that will culminate at the close of Acropolis Sophia of the new year, so that during this Christmastide and the ushering in of a new year and a new cycle, you will have the opportunity to clear away all of the debris of human consciousness, all of the ill-conceived ideas that you have fostered and allowed to remain in your life, and all of those habits that you know must go into the flame to be no more. And then hold high your consciousness so that you might receive the mother light to fill your chalice and establish that purity that will be the pressure of your own God presence constantly flowing through you, constantly refreshing, constantly refining, constantly building as a foundation for all of the alchemies that you will bring forth. And it is that constancy of the flame of the white light that will allow you to have the firm resolve of your Christhood, and how that Christhood will come forth according to the divine will of your own God presence. It is time for you, once and for all, to put away the childish dreams of the human consciousness and dream the dreams of your mighty I Am presence. Allow for the depositing into your mind those high ideals that your presence would have you fulfill, not the conjuring of what would seem to be self-aggrandizement or self-promoting in any way. But what is the will of your presence? What allows you to stand in the fullness of purity, to behold the nature of God, and have your God presence, as well as those ascended and cosmic beings, the Angelic Kingdom, the Elohim, look back at you and know that they look through the eyes of an initiate that knows the difference between the reality and the purity of God and what is not. And that initiate has chosen to be among what heretofore has been known as the elect. But you understand, it is the many sons, many daughters, with the individualization of God burning upon the altar of the heart, that have forged that holy communion in the presence of God and drawn it forth as a radiance that cannot be denied. And that is the path to the Ascension, blessed hearts. And it matters not if you have yet to understand the importance of the Ascension, for we hear what you have. Those grumblings, well, I do not wish to take my Ascension, I wish to stay and help. Foolish mortals indeed, that have not beheld the face of God and known the reality of the divine will of their own God presence. And I say to you, if that be the prerequisite that you have established for yourself in this life, it is time for you to reconsider. For you cannot make the striving on the path, the acceleration of the vibration of your vehicles of consciousness, the purity upheld within all of your activities, your thoughts, your words, your creations, when there is the resting back of the status quo of the human consciousness that is prevalent in the land. This path is not exclusive, but there are those that are lazy of consciousness, that would not strive with every erg of their energy to draw forth even one flicker of a match to light their way. I do not speak, however, to the company in my midst this day, for you know the difference. You have made the sacrifices in your life. You have established new patterns of activity that have allowed you to begin to know that the presence of God moves within you. And when you have received those blessings, you have been filled with gratitude and joy, and have given thanks to your God presence. O blessed hearts, far and wide across the earth, let this mother light that I release today, with the help of the Angelic Kingdom, as the purity of the white light angels go forth, so that each one cannot say they did not have the opportunity. They cannot profess to have been passed over, for all are given opportunity with this blessing. And with the coming Christmastide and the focus of a new year and new opportunity, more of the sons and daughters of God are receptive to changing those things in their life that must be put aside into the cauldron of the violet fire to be no more. This is the time. This is the cycle. Do not procrastinate. It will do you a world of good. And in the long run, you will look back at this time and this cycle and determine that you made the wise decision to accelerate the life within you and to rededicate your life to the path of the Ascension, to the ascended and cosmic beings that would assist you, to the golden age, held in the dreams of Saint Germain, and now the entirety of the Brotherhood of Light. And this mission that the entire spirit of the Brotherhood of Light have upheld, to release the light at this altar of the temple that would pierce the darkness and draw forth to every son and daughter of God a new day in the sun, in the light of the Mother. I, the Goddess of Purity, trust that you will take up this cycle and mark each day the acceleration that you are making in the white light of the Mother that will carry you into the blessings to come throughout this Christmastide. As the secret love star pours forth its radiance, at the center of that secret love star is the dazzling white light. Let that be the example of your own heart flame, burning brightly as an outpost of the secret love star and the light of your own mighty I Am presence. Be sealed in this light. Be protected by this light. Be guided by this light. Become this light. And go forth as the Christ, the light that will light the world. I thank you.